Starts to change quick now. Like
Yeah.
some March hits.
Excellent.
All right. Good morning.
Morning.
February 20th. Got an exciting show for us today. Looking forward to the project of the week as always. And especially Ben's ownership topics. I've been really enjoying those the last month. Excited for what you have to say today. But first, let's talk safety. It's our highest priority here at Engineers Construction. So let's start with it. How did we do this past week? We did pretty good. So let's keep it going. We're up to 132 from our last recordable, 7 from our last first aid injury, which was pretty minor. So that was good. And then 6 days from our last vehicle. So again, historically, vehicle accidents are our highest frequency. And we want to try to do our best to focus on our driving behaviors, following the rules of the road, focusing on the task at hand when we're behind the wheel. And that still goes for your conduct on job sites, making sure that we're identifying unsafe conditions and eliminating those unsafe acts. So this week, we want to do a quick little refresher. We had after one of our incidents this week, we kind of had a little roundtable meeting regarding our incident reporting, especially on the internal side of things. So this is right from our program safety manual. It's 2.5, section 2 for us is all of our safety systems. That these are tools for us to use to create a safe culture here at Engineers Construction. And one of those tools that we should be utilizing is as frequently as we can is internal reporting, especially on the near miss side. A good safety culture learns from their mistakes, identifies kind of that low-hanging fruit or some holes in some safety tendencies to try to shore up those holes so we don't have the same type of accidents over and over and over again. And the way we do that is by reporting. So a couple little things here. Again, when we're talking about internal reporting, first, job one is to making sure that it is critical to stabilize the situation first. So whatever does happen on a job site or on the road, focus on that. If you got to call 911, call 911. Don't call safety first if it's like a 911 thing. If someone's having heart issues, or there's road rage out there, or there's a really bad accident, or someone's bleeding really bad, call 911. Don't need to call safety first or call your supervisor first. Make that call to 911. That is critical. A lot of the internal reporting that we want to do is more on that kind of near miss, small kind of incidents. So then we can kind of figure out what happened, learn from our mistakes, find those corrective actions, move forward. Maybe more training, whatever it may be, to try to eliminate those similar casual factors that we like to talk about, eliminate those before it happens. Again, it's always multiple things. It's not just one thing that happens that leads to an accident. So in our program, our internal reporting process is we want to report in a timely manner, which we say is hopefully it's the day that the incident occurred. All right, if something happens in the morning, try to do it a little bit later once the area is secure. Try to get that internal report to health and safety, so then we can kind of open up an investigation, get the data, figure out what we need to do on the external side if it goes that way, but really try to figure out what's going on, so we can do follow-ups, come up with those casual factors, those corrective actions, so hopefully we can learn from our mistakes. And that is the goal when it comes to this, is learning from our mistakes to try to eliminate it from happening again. So I'm going to quickly fire up our internal reporting, and Ben, I will let you pick. Hold on, I gotta share my screen. Where is it? Stop sharing. Share it.
We don't see it yet.
Sorry. A little rusty. Do you see our internal reporting kind of procedure here on our screen now?
Yep, there's four,
Yep.
but there's a date. Yep.
Date, preliminary, So what do you guys want to, Ben, kind of roll the dice? You want to do a vehicle? You want to do equipment, personnel, or property?
Let's do an equipment.
Equipment. Okay. So again, it's a quick little drop down. Pick the date and time. It's really easy. Again, you're not doing the final report. That comes from the safety department. We're doing the final. And then we're gonna just we had some equipment damage on site. So this screen opens up. Was an ECI equipment damage? Yes. Again, all we want to do in the preliminary report is just keep it basic. The follow-up questions, all that stuff will kind of come from safety. Either Tom or myself will kind of do more of the investigation side. So just tell us what happened.
Yeah.
Piece of equipment, they're all in there. Let's say there's nice little drop downs here for excavator equipment numbers. Again, if you see any issues with the form, let us know and we can make sure it's in there. Ben, you're the one filling it out today on
Yep.
our behalf. You're operating. You could put a photo in there quickly for us.
Yep.
What was damage? It seems like most of the time with equipment, it's been windows cracking
Yeah.
on us. Did conditions play in a role when it comes to that? Is this like, especially this time of year, snowstorm, I slipped, cab, snow covered, something like that. So if it did or did not, vehicle damage in the incident. So that's where it kind of might get confusing a little bit. When it says vehicle, that is like an automobile, and we could probably change that if there is some questions on that. Was there anyone hurt? Yes or no? And if it says yes, then it kind of opens up more kind of data points. Of course, it's on a job site, persons involved. It's see where these red boxes are. That's just kind of
Yep.
what we want to fill out as we go. Date and time is just a quick little drop down. It's pretty smooth. It should only take you roughly a minute to do this stuff. Once you do one, you can really do it really fast. And you could always do abbreviations. And this is the most important part really is the description. And again, you don't need to go on like a 2-paragraph thing. It's just a quick description what happened. So Ben, what happened to the window on the excavator that you're operating?
Yep. Tree limb snap. I swung and a tree limb broke my broke my window.
Yeah.
I swung into it.
Swinging into a tree limb. Bang. Could be as simple as that. Doesn't have to
Yep.
be huge, big description. This is just the preliminary report. It gets the notifications out because once you fill this, it goes to mechanics, it goes to safety, it goes to, as you're filling out the project, it'll go to the project team. Did anyone else see the incident? If there's witnesses, that really helps us on the investigation side. But if you want to select no, that's fine.
But we want to say we broke the window.
Yep. Yeah, we could I'll go back.
Right. Window, whatever. But
Yep.
when we get into speculation and things, that's kind of what we don't want in the initial report is drawing conclusions and all that, because that's the result of Tom and Matt's work to make sure they get all the details and make the
Yep.
complete the report.
Yep. So then you go, able to move back really quick, added that, even though that was kind of part of that first page, you can identify what's broke there too. And it shows
we could
up on
take
the
a
report.
picture, Matt, you said?
Yep. Yeah, you can grab a photo, upload it. This form is going to be available on desktop. This form is really good on mobile. Inside the app, the foremans have capabilities. Most employees can have it. We have a couple of just lasting questions here, and then who filled it out? I'll put your names in there. And then all you do is hit submit.
Yep.
Oh, I gotta sign it first, sorry. And then hit submit, bang. And then poof, that took us maybe 2 minutes as we're just kind of going over the presentation and just hopefully hit the key points. Is just keep it to the facts, keep it really for that what happened. You don't need to get into the speculation. You don't need to get into any root causes, stuff like that. We'll do that in the final report. And I think that will help just get the information out quickly to everybody. Again, We don't want to fill these things out. Hopefully, no one gets hurt. We don't get any auto accidents. That's the goal. But when we do, this is a good tool for us to utilize to making sure that the proper information is getting out to the proper people so we can make sure the situation's safe, make sure the care is needed for the people that need it, or the equipment. If it's an unsafe condition with the equipment, the mechanics are there to fix the equipment properly. So everybody goes home safe and sound each and every day.
And then the people that get it understand that something happened on a job, it's the project manager or the dispatcher and you guys and all of us. We know that something happened and we don't have the details, and we don't need to know all the details yet, but it's nice to know when something did happen.
Yes. Now, hopefully eliminate some of the surprises that some people might take incorrectly.
Yeah.
If there's any other follow-up questions after the meeting, Tom and I are always available, always want suggestions to make the tools that we have better. So if you have a safety suggestion, if it's form related, if it's whatever it is, please contact us and we will we'll try to solve those problems.
We are pretty good at telling each other how we can do better. We just got to tell it directly to the people that we want to talk to, right?
Yes. Good communication. Well,
Well,
if there's no other follow-up questions, the floor is yours, Ben.
Yep, thanks. It's not showing up right around it. Is it sharing?
Yes.
Usually it has a little red line. Okay, so thanks, Matt and Tom. So we cycle every week through the code of conduct and items, and this one's working in an environmentally conscientious manner. But our next topic is related to another one of our code items that's equally as important. So you guys probably already read ahead. I want to hide that. So how do we demonstrate integrity? Anybody know? Don't be a liar.
Word, yeah.
Don't be a liar.
Yeah.
Nobody trusts somebody that lies and makes stuff up. And nobody really appreciates it when you say you're going to get something done and you don't, and you fail every time. So a lot of what we do every day is safety sensitive, and we make commitments to each other, but it's really frustrating when someone says they're going to get something done and they don't. And that makes us not trust them. And trust is one of the biggest things that we have to deal with, especially in our work, but in life. When you don't trust someone and they tell you something, it only takes a couple of times when you don't believe them anymore. So as I say here, it's the foundation of our effectiveness as a team, to own our commitments and follow through on what we say we're going to do. That proves our reliability. It builds it builds our confidence in each other because we actually believe. Matt Orszalak said he's going to be on my job at 8:00. He's there on it at 8:00. Our success on large, complex jobs, it stems from all of our individual accountability, and we all have little pieces of the puzzle that we do every day that we make commitments to get things done, and they all build up to that huge project that we're doing. It takes everyone being accountable for what they say and do and making things happen. Sometimes we have to work later. If we say we're going to get it done. When I came here, and I remember Alan Pigeon told me one time, he said, if you say you're going to do it, you better do it. I don't care if you have to work all night. If you say you're going to do it, I want you to do it. If you can't do it, let me know. He was a little bit old school and harder, but it's a lot easier because I knew the expectations. So I was careful about what I committed to. Sometimes I would do better than what I said, and I'd underpromise a little bit, and that's related to that code item. Don't overpromise or underdeliver. Underdelivering makes us equally as frustrated with people, because we start to, feel that they're not pulling their weight on the team. So, we're all employee owners now, and we owe this to each other to keep our word, and that shows our commitment. and it demonstrates our integrity, and it aligns with the code of conduct, because the code of conduct, one of the bullet points, which one is it? Not too far from the top. Don't overpromise or underdeliver. It's the fourth one on the in the code of conduct, number 4. So that's an important one. So that's the one we're talking about this week. So you get a bonus. You get 2 this week. This is going to strengthen our culture, and it's going to contribute to our success as a company, and it's going to allow us to do those big, complicated projects, because we're going to be able to trust each other, and it's going to make us happier, and we're going to feel a lot better about each other when we can trust each other. So I'll go back to what I started with. Don't be a liar. Don't lie. Intentionally or unintentionally. So any of the mechanics, Brad or anybody, if you want to chime in on this one, equipment focus of the week is greasing the equipment. It's got to be manually greased at least once a day, and proper greasing extends the life of the stuff, and it's a way that we can take care of it and make it last a lot longer and avoid a lot of costly repairs. So operators, sometimes they grease in the morning. I used to have a guy, he always greased in the afternoon, or he greased after the pins were warm and it was warmer. He thought it was easier to grease. So it's up to the operator. You know, there are some things that we need to grease at the end of the day anyway. And if, as you see in the special notes, if you have a wrist, this guy Del Gilly, he ran one of the 595 rubber tire excavators, and he'd pump a couple things of grease in there at coffee break. At lunchtime, he'd hit that he'd hit that wrist, and he had a Wainwright twister wrist on that 595. And I think Larry Raymond told me one time that was the one, and I think Pat Wells can attest to this, when Gilly, the machine that was assigned to Gilly lasted so long, and it was tight, that wrist, because he greased it like 2-3 times a day. He went through a lot of grease. It cost us a lot of money in grease. He was always walking out of here with a box of grease every morning. Remember, talk to the guys in the shop, but the turntables the ring gears and stuff, they don't get greased every day. A lot of our equipment that gets overlooked, the skid steers, different people are jumping in and out of it, and you run it for an hour and then someone else runs it. It tends to not get greased. Bucket loaders the same way. Different people are running them. Those slip seat items, when we're slip seating in skid steers, loaders, and rollers, sometimes you gotta be the one that says, man, that doesn't look like it has any grease. Let's grease it. So I had one of these. I had a good grease kit, and the operators, we should all have some items. We all need to have grease gun, of course, and it's good to have gloves, rags, extra grease, but also spare grease fittings. I remember Gilly had a little tackle box that we gave him, and he had the different fittings, and he had a couple of different little special sockets to get some of the fittings, because sometimes those things get plugged or they get damaged, and we got to replace them. We also had I remember Larry had a thing that he would hit with a hammer that would actually would open up a plugged grease fitting, and I'm sure the mechanics know how to do that. So greasing the equipment is really important. Any of you guys out there, you mechanics, or anyone have any comments on greasing equipment? I probably can't stress it enough.
I would just say, don't hesitate to call. If you got something that won't take lube, call us.
Yeah.
Any questions at all, call. If it's squeaking, squealing, won't take grease, we need to know. We'll help you out. We're here.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. You heard it.
Anybody, all of you, call.
You guys would rather have a call to help grease than to get called every time something breaks, right?
Yeah, or show up when there's 2 inches of play in the joint.
Yep.
It hasn't been greased in forever.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you. You heard it. And I think it's really important. I can say this stuff, McKinney, sometimes we say this stuff, and but when one of our guys on the staff says this stuff, they mean it, and they care about our stuff just as much as and more than we do. It's like these are like their kids. These pieces of equipment, they really care about them. And
And
the
just
one
be-
thing, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, be sure that you're inspecting everything as you go too, especially our bucket connections. We haven't had a bucket fall off in quite a while, so let's keep that up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Perfect. So take care of our stuff. And remember that whenever you bring something back in the shop, I always say this, clean the crap out of it, because those guys, they have to clean stuff out of the cabs and to get to their work. And it makes them feel a lot better when something comes in and it's at least, clean of debris and trash. All right. I wanted to remind you all, thank you for taking care of our stuff. I wanted to remind everyone of the employee referral program, because some people probably don't remember that we do have this program. I think we get our best employees from our employees, because I think all of you are a good judge, and you're not going to recommend somebody that's not a good fit to ECI. And we've been very successful. And remember, if someone, you can read this, but after someone's here for 4 weeks, if you're noted on some as recruiting someone on their application, after 4 weeks, you get $250. And then if they make it 6 months, that's a pretty good chance that we're hopefully doing our job and we're keeping the right people. You're gonna get another $750. So that's $1,000 per recruit. And we have some employees here that have recruited, I think, at least 3 in a year. You can recruit up to 5 people, so you can gain up to $5,000 in this program, which is kind of cool. And isn't it nice to pick the people that we want to work with? So you can talk to your supervisor. A lot of them know how to do this. The market managers all know how to fill this form out. And we always look on, Erin Markle always kind of looks on the applications to see if there's a place on that application that says, were you referred by anybody at ECI? So I don't want you to stand out the front door and see people walking in with applications and just having to put your name on there for no reason. But if you know them and you recruit them, I want you to be on there. So if you click on this, you can see that we do have the complete program listed out. I put that on there so that you guys could all read all the finer details of the referral program. It was revised this January 1st of this year. So it's an ongoing program. And we're paying them out every couple weeks. I sign the little notes that go home to you. So I know that we've got a lot flowing out, which is good. So if you don't know about it, now you do. We got a new crane. You probably saw it in the yard. The guys got it here last week, and they received training. I noticed that there's not a name on the door. I know we got some guys competing, but we've got a few guys that run it, several guys that run it. But this is a Tadano Mantis GTC 700. It's a telescopic boom crawler, 70 ton. It's got a lot of boom. It can crawl with a load. It's going to replace the 750. The 750's got a lot of hours on it, and you're going to see that cleaned up, and we're going to hopefully get a good price for that to help contribute to this purchase. But I think we should all be proud of this. I think maybe mine part is that mirror or something right there. We all you can pick your piece, but this is an awesome machine. I already got an email from one of the guys in Albany that we know that does similar work that gets our newsletter, and he was all excited about our crane last night. But that's down in Cavendish right now, and she started with basically 0 hours. So we're proud of it, and we're going to continue to feature some of our new stuff, because I think all of you work together and identify these machines and these things that we need to replace, and everyone's gonna see that we're gonna be getting new machines in as we need them in all the groups. So it makes us a little jealous sometimes when we see a new piece and we didn't get it, but rest assured, we're all gonna have that experience. And I know there's a lot of new trucks out there, so be happy about those new pickup trucks and things that we've got in the last year. So I'm excited about that crane. I didn't put all the specs in there. I figured you guys can Google it and you can get all the good info. Project of the week, Matt Zaganowitz. You on?
Yes, sir.
Matt, you didn't get the email, but I forwarded it to you, so we'll figure that out today.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if
No
anyone,
problem.
if anyone else didn't get the email, let me know, and we'll double check to make sure that our address is right. Matt, you want me to drive this, or do you want to?
Absolutely. Drive away.
Okay. We got to kick ass now. We got to get this done quick.
Okay, I'm on it. So ECI was contracted with VTrans for Hartford Plat for White River Junction station platform reconstruction in White River Junction, Vermont. The project at White River Junction train station kicked off with the removal of old paved boarding area to make way for a new 300-foot-long, low-level passenger platform designed to meet ADA standards. The new platform featured cast-in-place prefabricated trench drain, over 3 tons of rebar, more than 100 cubic yards of concrete, and 152 detectable warning surface to ensure safety and accessibility. But the improvements didn't stop there. Crews also built 720 square yards of 8-inch thick reinforced concrete sidewalk, which winds behind the platform, circles around the Amtrak station, and frames a historical locomotive train display located right near the station itself. Because of the high, tight spaces and the presence of train exhibit, most of the concrete had to be pumped in, a logistical challenge that the team handled with precision. All construction was carefully phased so that Amtrak services stayed on schedule and passengers could still board safely throughout the process, which was very important. You know, we got to do the work, but also keep the passengers boarding and the train moving, no delay to the train. And it was a challenge for all of us to keep everything going. Beyond the platform and sidewalk, the project brought a host of other enhancements to improve drainage, new outdoor lighting, benches, trash cans, bike racks, ADA accessible doors for the entry door to the building, paving, line striping, and upgraded Amtrak signage, which, believe it or not, the signage was a very challenging thing too, because Amtrak has a very particular way they want things done. Heights, sizes, lettering, all that good stuff. Once completed, these upgrades will make it easier for everyone to move between the station building and the boarding areas, all in full compliance with the American with Disabilities Act, which was the main focus of the upgrade. Here's the cover sheet of the project. To the left, there's a picture of the actual old pavement platform. You could see the historical display undercover right there. The locals in that train, they brought that in and made the platform or the cover over it. We had to protect that during the whole construction process. And you can also see in the middle picture, the train station's in the middle, and you can see 2 sets of tracks that go to the left and right of the train station. Both of those tracks are owned by 2 different train companies, New England Central Railroad and Vermont Railway. So we actually had to have 2 separate flaggers on the job to control train movements throughout the whole duration of the project. Go ahead and scroll up a little bit.
Just making it a little bigger.
Oh yeah, that detail. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So very challenging. You're right in the middle of a bunch of railroad tracks, and we needed a lot of protection. So this platform typical. The building the platform haunch without interrupting the busy rail line was no small feat. But the concrete team got really creative. They decided to pour a dead man. The dead man's the purple square to the left near the rail. They poured that, and then you could see a green little line that connects to the outer form. So that'll hold the form up so that we could pour the concrete and keep trains moving. The clever move meant trains could keep rolling right past the platform while the work took place with no risk of fouling the tracks. Also, you could see the little mud mat they poured under the trench drain on the typical to the right to keep the trench drain at a perfect grade and something nice and strong to build it on. This sheet is the platform. So the platform's in the front. All that's reinforced rebar in that thickened slab, and then behind it are the sidewalk areas. And you can see the to the left would be where the train display is. The white in the middle is obviously the Amtrak station, and then the sidewalk that goes around it. And on the edges, they had some nice exposed aggregate. You'll see in pictures later. But the crazy part about this was coordinating concrete and lining up the pump was very challenging. You know, Chandler and Cody Marsh work daily calls, shuffling schedules to line up both items at the same time. Carol is a very busy company, and you really have to schedule ahead of time. And Cody came up with this pour schedule with multiple pours. Most of it all had to be done with a pump truck, which you'll see in pictures coming up. Very challenging. You think it's just pouring concrete, but scheduling the trucks and the pumper at the same time, crazy. So this little opening here leads down to a very interesting tunnel. Part of the contract was to close off this tunnel. The contract called for ECI to demo and seal up a piece of local history, an old underground tunnel that once stretched from this train station all the way across the tracks to the local post office. No one really, we've looked into this and done some research. There's a lot of speculation, but no facts of what it was actually used for. But most people figure the tunnel was used and built to move mail and even passengers back and forth. Some of the articles I read, because the tracks are on both sides of the Amtrak station, they didn't want people walking over and tripping on tracks and stuff. And then the mail was huge down there in train delivery. So it was an easy way to get the mail back and forth from the post office. This is looking down into the tunnel from the stairway. That needs to be shut off. And very interesting. This goes right under the tracks, way to the post office. You can see to the right, there's some type of area down there. We're guessing that was like where they slid the mail back and forth. And then the left here was the passenger area or, staff or something to get from point A to point B. Very cool, very interesting, and a little spooky down there. I threw this picture in there. They did want the enclosed shaft vented. So we came up with this idea to use water pipe to vent it. And Chandler and the crew and everybody there did an amazing job, and it came out very well. And this, you can see the crews. So it looks like they use sheet piles to kind of form the stairway down. We had to remove all that stuff and get it out of there. And then we poured just a cement concrete wall to enclose the tunnel. We didn't collapse it or fill it in. It's just basically a blocker there so that we could build the platform and sidewalk without having that under there. There is still a way to get in there. There's like a little manhole cover to the left. So people could still get down there for some reason. I have no idea why. I wouldn't go down there at all. It's spooky. And then here's the guy starting to work from the ground up. You can see the drain. This drain is for the prefabricated like French drain that will collect the water. There are some new lights that went up in front of the Amtrak station. You can see they have a base set there, and they're just getting in the under drain and working their way up. You can see the historic train display to the left. You know, these guys protected this thing with their lives. Like here, it's just LOD, but sometimes they had to put up plastic so nothing got splattered on it. The crews and the guys were really worked hard on this. You can see to the left, the dead men formed up. And then to the left is the mud slab or leveling slab for the front for the trench drain. The concrete guys came up with all this stuff, and it worked out really, really well. And then here, this is the prefabricated trench drain. On top is a piece of plywood that is so when we do the closure pour, no concrete would get into the drain. They're leveling it, putting the pitch on it. Just a lot of work. It's 300 feet of platform. I was down here on this day. This was the closure pour for the platform. And I've always heard the concrete guys talk about this, you know, using conduit to make a tent. And oh my God, it worked out great. We were able to pour 300 feet of this drain closure pour during very high rain event. It didn't slow us down. Not a lot of money in plastic or conduit. The guys did an amazing job. And here's something that put it into perspective. This is, you know, all the way to the end, and you can see it's tented the whole way. It didn't collapse because of the rain. It worked out very well. Very well. And then this is a great picture that shows the dead men to the right. And you can see some tie bars holding the forms to the edge of the railroad ties and ballast there. We needed to protect that edge. We couldn't have it exposed for trains to push the track back and forth. We needed to maintain that ballast. You could see the rebar mats. A lot of work there. And here are the guys doing the reinforced sidewalk pour. The platform would be to the left, not poured yet. And the guys are doing the 8-inch reinforced concrete pour right there in front of and there you can see where they taped the plastic up to protect the train display. I mean, everybody took really good care, worked really well together. Amazing team down there. And here is Ronnie and the crew setting detectable warning surfaces. If you remember back on that sheet with the multiple pour schedule, this is just one of the sections that we poured, and Ronnie was down there. Ronnie went down daily for these pours and just making sure everything went really well. There's Troy. And oh, this is a great picture. We literally had to use this pump system from like this side all the way to the other side. It was the only way to get the concrete to the platform and around the building. So this went up and over the building, which they needed to use care for, not to damage the historic Amtrak station. Very cool stuff. This is around the front of the building. That's Ronnie stretching out there using the bucket to finish the edging, and the guys helping. You can see the reinforcing wire in there and the sections how we had to pour it just to make it work. Pretty cool. This is a good picture from Katie. It shows before we poured the middle part of the reinforced sidewalk, they had some nice exposed aggregate. And it came out really well. It looks really nice. And it added a nice little detail to the front of the entrance. There was some landscaping, small amount of new trees and landscaping on the job. And this is a finished product. To the left is freshly poured reinforced sidewalk that wrapped around that train display.
Mhm.
This is after the platform was poured with the detectable warning surfaces set in there. In came L&D with this very expensive yellow line that stay behind the yellow line that they actually heated up and melted kind of into the concrete. Very interesting, but it looked good when it was all done. Of course, on most jobs here, we have milling and paving. We did have some patchwork on this job. There is a sewer tie-in, and it turned out that it was all plugged up. It was a big change order. Cody Marsh worked very hard on some of the logistics of it, and it went right across the parking lot. So there was a huge change to the original septic scope, but the guys pulled it off, and here they are patching it back in. The pavers doing their thing, making it look good. Here, this was a monotonous job. All the joints needed to be sealed. I think we used a Sika Flex product, and it was just very monotonous. A lot of it. And these guys, look at them. They're happy go lucky. Let's get the job done. The crews down here were amazing. Just right at it. And this was the original part of the contract to set a new structure to tie in the existing sewer. But when we did this, that's when we found out it was compromised and broke and plugged, and we had to make it right. So we worked with V-Trans with a change order to make it right. And these guys, again, did an amazing job. This isn't their cup of tea, and they pulled it off very well. Here is the electrical crew, doing the finished product with the lights and stuff. You can see a couple other light poles down there. There were some building mounted lights as well. Gave a nice upgrade to the lighting of the platform. And this train station, like when I went down there, I was thinking, oh, 2-3 guys are going to get on this a day. This is a busy train station, and anybody on the job can contest that. A lot of people, I don't know, 15, 20, maybe I'm going overboard, but would board here daily. And we had to make sure they had a nice, safe access to that area. Here's the finished product. This picture was taken by Katie. Amazing work, guys. Amazing teamwork. And here it is. Great picture with the light poles. You can see the drain.
Looks good.
And Amtrak ready to pull up. And this platform really helped because the other one wasn't at the right height for people to get on, so they're taking higher steps. This is to ADA standards. The whole platform, everything is to ADA standards.
Nice, Matt. Thanks for putting this together. That's one
Yeah,
of those
no,
jobs that we don't see because we don't get
Yeah.
a lot of us don't get down there. I got down only, I think, once or twice to that project.
Yeah, and great teamwork, great working together.
Really appreciate you putting that together. Good job, everybody. I found this when we first purchased the building where the heavy equipment is. We tore the fence down because there used to be a fence that ran right through there, and we put an overhead door in. And this is the guys back in 2006 pouring the pad that's right out between Chico's shop and the heavy equipment shop. So that's Paul Brown,
and
John
yeah,
Zeno, and the guys. See, there's no pavement out there yet because that was before we paved it. But I thought those would be kind of cool. I found those and look at the old pickups, the 90s pickups over there. Who is that? Is that Harley? No, that's
Yeah,
Paul. That's Paul.
Oh yeah, with his hat off.
Yep.
Good old
Yep.
Zeno.
Griswold Concrete.
STG. Yep. So that's a little history right there. All right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everybody. I'll turn it back over to the safety guys. Sorry we ran over a little. It was just good day to feature a nice project and see some of the awesome work that you guys do, especially around these trains.
Agreed. We got weather coming this afternoon. They kind of 3-4 o'clock window. So drive safe heading home when you end your shift today. So let's drive safe. Keep the traction up. If you're watching a group setting, please send that over to Tom so we can capture attendance. But most importantly, let's have a safe day. Let's have a great day working together. Let's be safe.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day, guys.
Have a good day.